Well, you know what? Aron and Igor got this, and you got this conversation started. And now let's have devil's advocate, our homeowner representative, Robbie,
Yes.
finish the interview with clarifications.
Okay. So can you show these two pieces of wood
Yes.
again? So
Yes.
earlier you were going, look, this is maple and this is maple, and look, they look the same. Not like Rich said that they used to look like plastic. So if it's wood, then it should look the same. Why would wood ever look like plastic?
It was the finishes they were using. I think
Right.
at the time they were really thick and heavy.
And
And
plasticky looking.
Yes.
The finish meaning like
The coatings.
The coating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the like shellac.
Polyurethane.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's wood.
It is wood. So here's a very, very important distinction. So this is something that comes up all the time. This is a solid 3/4 inch solid piece of maple flooring. Tree.
This is a tree.
So this comes literally, they mill the logs, they cut the logs down. Excuse me. And what we basically have is a tongue and groove. So you can see the groove side is this side here. The tongue side is the piece that's kind of sticking out, protruding.
You smell very nice.
Oh, thank you.
He used soap.
Yes. And I apologize for this, but it's been a rough work week. Let's just say it's been a rough week.
So we have this tongue and groove configuration, and here is an example of a piece of maple that has been formatted in an engineered setup. And what that simply means is we have maple flooring. So from the top, if we look this way, right? Maple here, both exactly the same. But if you look at the cross section, you see that we have a veneer of maple, and then the rest is this ply construction in the core.
Okay.
So
this, again, sorry about the nails, people. Sorry about the nails, people. It's been a rough week at work. Okay, so this little bitty section here
right.
is maple.
So that's the maple veneer,
And we call that the wear layer.
the wear layer. That's
Why?
exactly right.
Is it called a veneer?
Well, because it's sliced in this case, and again, we can get lost in the weeds very quickly here as well. But when we're talking about veneers, they can be rotary peeled veneers. Sometimes furniture is made of these rotary peeled veneers where they come off of almost a lathe, and they're kind of peeled off, and then they're laminated. We don't like to work with those. We find them to be less dimensionally stable for flooring, so we like sliced veneers, where it's literally the same type of slicing action when they're manufacturing regular flooring, but they're making it a little thinner, and then they're applying it to this heavily plied core.
And there's 8 layers underneath this one layer.
Correct. So it's the 9th layer is the wood itself.
Okay.
And what you have to realize, Robbie, is what makes it dimensionally stable is when they put those plies together, they change the direction of the grain in order to keep it from moving in the same direction at all times. So that's
it's cross-plied.
Right, it's cross-plied. Yeah. So that's what makes it dimensionally stable. Now, most people haven't seen maple, but they've seen red oak. So this is the same situation with red oak. So we have the solid piece here. We have the engineered piece here. Okay, same wear layer on the top, same ply construction, but when you look at it from on top, they look identical. And that's the goal when you're putting it in, say, a high-rise, people that came from a home on the North Shore or wherever that have lived with a 2 1/4 red oak, and they want to have a 2 1/4 inch red oak look or something similar in their new high-rise. You can go with a 3 1/4 inch engineered, and it'll look relatively the same to them.
Now that wear layer looked thicker than the one on the maple.
And that's what I was just driving at. So I have a piece right here, Ron. You can take a look at this. This is one of our premium products. And Robbie, you'll be able to see this right away from where you're at. So again, back to 3/4 inch solid maple. Mm-hmm. This piece here is not maple. This is rift and quartered white oak, but this is 3/4 inch. This is 3/4 inch. We actually have the ability to make a 3/4 inch thick engineered wood floor in whatever species we want. In this case, this happens to be rift and quartered white oak. Look at the wear layer. This is a 4 millimeter wear layer, and we're about to, later this year, we're going to be rolling out a 5 millimeter wear layer, which will be exactly the same thickness as the usable amount of wood that's above the tongue on a solid wood floor. So for people that are green and into ecologically sort of sustainable materials, to use only the amount that's usable anyway off of a solid wood floor and be able to use the entire amount on an engineered format is fantastic, because look at all of the wood we waste below the tongue.
Right.
Now, the other unique thing that what Igor is holding, and actually I'm going to give you this as well, because that's a solid piece of white oak.
Yeah, so let's...
Same exact size, same species, so they're both rift and quartered white oak. But if you realize, those are both unfinished products. So now you actually have the ability to go in and specify your color, just like you would on a solid wood floor. You can get an engineered, unfinished product and have it stained on site, and then you get rid of your dust collector, as Rich would like to call it.
Right.
Why would you want to color this?
Well, if you just wanted to stain it a particular color, or if you wanted to, just have the option of controlling the color, controlling the sheen, we have the ability to specify an engineered format. Typically, they come pre-finished, so you're only limited to the colors the manufacturer has decided on your behalf. We now have the ability to go engineered, grabbing all of the benefits of this format, leaving it raw, just like we would with a regular solid wood floor, and then staining it on site if we wanted to. So we have the ability to do that. And look at this. It's a 3/4 inch full. This is an 11-ply constructed product. This is going to rival just about anything on the market dimensionally, and all the benefits.
I also brought in a piece of walnut with the same product.
Yeah. So these are pieces of wood that are actually projects that are going on right now. We have a project where we just finished. This is 8-inch wide, 3/4 inch engineered unfinished walnut. This went into a very, very high-end custom home. It was stained a very, very specific color and stained on site. And we get all the dimensional stability of a 3/4 inch ply constructed engineered floor. And look how wide this is.
Pros and cons. Engineered, real wood.
Actually, the biggest benefit of engineered is the saving of the primary species, so you can get a lot more out of it. Probably the only downside to it is the wear layer thickness. It's not something that can be refinished over and over, so you don't want the herd of long-nailed dogs in the house.
But with this newer stuff now,
yeah,
the wear layer is now the same.
It's 4 to 5 mils. I mean, it's
right.
And that's
how you choose it. That's also what drives the price.
Right.
So now let's talk about price versus a thinner wear layer on a pre-finished floor.
Right. So again, if price is of importance, and the price is always an important consideration, but that small piece that Aron showed at the very beginning, this guy, the manufacturer that created this never intended for this floor to be refinished. So as Rich was just saying, a product like this, Rob, if you were to walk into a store and purchase this product, it is real wood, but you can never really manipulate it like we would want to manipulate a real wood floor. It's too thin for that. Now, you take a product like this, where...
But to back you up, once it's installed, you'd never know the difference.
True,
correct.
It's just the down the road issue.
Right. You're going to replace it versus sanding.
Right. We call those disposable floors.
More or less, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So again, for us, because we do a lot of sand and finish, we want to make sure we have the option for our clients. Let's say you put this floor in, Robbie, but you sell the home to me, and I want to simply change its color. There's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly fine, but it just, the color doesn't work. Well, if I have this really thin format, I can't do that. I would have to replace this floor.
Oh, wow.
With a product like this, we can come in and sand it again, and you could sell the home, or you can decide to change the color. There's no issue with that. So it's important for people listening that if you're buying a wood floor, and depending on the format, if you are going to go engineered, we strongly recommend that you look at the wear layer or the thickness of that top veneer and decide for yourself, if it's a short-term home and you really don't care, and
you're going to be out in 5 years anyway?
Exactly. Then it's a non-issue. But if you're concerned with being there for an extended period of time, being able to have the ability to change the color, these thick formatted floors are the way to go.
So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to also bring up that if you did a wide plank floor like that, and you pretty much need to run air conditioning and heating all the time in a solid wood product.
Right.
With that engine, because of the expansion and contraction of what's going on with the flooring. So, with engineered, though, you could go with a wide format like that and still be able to open the windows during the summer, right?
Yeah, you still need a controlled environment, but you don't need to be as, let's say, neurotic about it. We can have a little bit more fluctuation.
Yeah.
We can also, very importantly, and Aron touched on this earlier, we can put it over a concrete floor. We can float these floors. So we can put it below grade, where you would never want to put a solid wood floor. We can put it in a high rise. And in many high-rise buildings, there are very limited humidity and temperature controls. Temperature is typically fine. It's the humidity controls that are the issue. So when the temperature really plummets in the winter and we get very, very cold, dry winters and the heat is running, our engineered systems work much, much better, and they don't gap as much as a solid wood floor would.
Why can't you put solid wood in a high-rise?
You can, but it would require acoustical insulation, which can be done. Plywood, soundproofing, right? Plywood to house the floor, because as Aron was just saying earlier, that we can't nail into concrete, and the building won't allow you to nail anything anyway. Mm-hmm. So it just requires much more effort. It can be done, but then you're raising the thickness of the floor. You're bringing ceiling heights down. Door jams become an issue. With these engineered unfinished floors, we can control everything about the floor, keep the profile lower, and get much better performance.
Can you two look at a floor and know if it's engineered or hardwood?
From the top, probably not.
It depends, because we don't just look from it from the top.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We go in. If I walk into a condo building and I step up, I know it's a solid wood floor.
1 minute.
If I see it's at the same height as, say, the tile, it's most likely an engineered wood floor.
And if you look for the dust bunny collector,
right,
that's the telltale sign that you've got an engineered product.
Really?
Yeah, or at least a pre-finished
floor. The one thing I want to touch on really quick is something that comes up all the time is I have clients that want to have the same wood floor, first floor, second floor, third floor, and then also in their lower level.
Mm-hmm.
I never use basements. So lower level. This allows you to do it. It'll look exactly the same. You could do the solid up on the first 3 levels, but below grade you have to do an engineered.
Excellent, and it can match it all and keep it the same.
Exactly.
Yep. All right, Mr.'s Floor, we appreciate your time, guys.
Thank you, Ron.
All right, we got phone calls to get to right after this. We'll be back. You're listening to
Mighty House.
This is Mighty House. Mighty House will return.